Hi, I'm Helen. Today, I want to share my journey about resilience and advocacy. Being a nurse was more than just a job for me, it was a calling. However, when my son Kevin was diagnosed with a chronic illness that needed constant care, I made the difficult choice to leave my career and focus on him full-time. This transition has been tough, filled with challenges that only a mother caring for a sick child can truly understand. Kevin's illness can get worse quickly, so every day I wake up hoping for a good day. My husband Alan works at the same hospital where I used to work. You would think this would make things easier for us, but life has its own twists and turns, which you'll see soon. Mom, how are you this morning? Kevin asks me with a faint smile while I check his temperature. These little moments remind me why I made my choice. I'm good, honey, as long as you're feeling okay today, I reply, tucking his blanket around him tightly. We need to keep you warm and comfy. Taking care of Kevin's health is now my main focus. I plan every day around his needs, from giving him medications to scheduling doctor appointments. It feels like being a nurse, but the stakes are much higher when it's your own child. I think about my old colleague Sarah, who I didn't get along with. Her competitive attitude clashed with my focus on patient care. I never imagined our paths would cross again in a way that went beyond hospital politics. Do you miss working at the hospital? Alan asks one evening after a long day. He looks at me with genuine concern, searching for a truth I don't often acknowledge. Sometimes, I do miss it. But I know I need to be here with Kevin. Dealing with people like Sarah made me question that work environment. She just wants to climb the ladder, not really care for patients, I tell Alan. He nods, understanding the challenges I faced. I know, Helen. But remember, not everyone is like Sarah. There are good people there too. As I prepare for another night by Kevin's bedside, I reflect on my time at the hospital. The skills I learned there help me care for Kevin now. However, I would soon realize that my past as a nurse was not behind me, especially when Sarah's true nature would endanger my son. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe for updates on our journey. Stay tuned for what happens next. It's a story of confrontation, courage, and a mother's fierce protection. Kevin feels really hot and says his head hurts. The school nurse calls me, sounding frantic and urging me to act fast. I grab my keys, my heart racing as I picture my son in pain. When I arrive at the school, I find Kevin pale and shivering. He looks worse than he did this morning. Without hesitation, we head straight to the hospital where Alan works, hoping that familiarity and speed will help us. As we rush into the emergency room, I expect quick action. But the reception area feels strangely calm, much too calm for my anxious mind. We need a doctor immediately. My son is very sick. I plead with the receptionist, my voice filled with panic. She nods, but continues talking about lunch plans with a colleague, seemingly unfazed by my urgency. After what feels like forever, she finally tells us to go to the waiting area. Minutes feel like hours. Finally, Sarah walks in. Her expression is unreadable, and when she sees me, there's no warmth in her eyes. What seems to be the problem here, Helen? Sarah asks, her tone condescending rather than concerned. Kevin is very ill. He needs to see a doctor right away. I insist. I'm a doctor, Helen. Let's not overreact. Children get fevers, it's normal, she interrupts, glancing dismissively at Kevin. This is more than just a fever. He needs immediate attention. I reply, my voice shaking with fear for Kevin. I'll be the judge of that. Let's not jump to conclusions based on a mother's anxiety, Sarah says, looking at Kevin and then at her clipboard, showing her irritation. She finally starts examining Kevin, but her manner is cold, and her questions are short. Each minute she delays adds to my anxiety. Can you please hurry? He's getting worse. I plead. Relax, Helen. I'm the doctor here. Her coldness cuts through my hope. It's clear she's letting her personal feelings affect her professionalism. Kevin's condition is getting worse, his breathing becomes labored, and his skin feels clammy. He could have sepsis. He needs tests and treatment now. I shout. I'm the doctor, Helen. I'll decide what he needs, Sarah replies flatly, her detachment both professional and cruel. I can't take it anymore. We're going to another hospital. You're clearly not going to help. Do what you feel you must, but you're overreacting, Sarah says. I scoop Kevin into my arms, rushing out of the hospital with his limp body against me. The drive to the other hospital is a blur, my mind replaying every dismissive gesture from Sarah. When we arrive at the new hospital, the difference is striking. Within minutes, a team of urgent care professionals takes Kevin away. Their quick and efficient actions help calm my frayed nerves. We're going to take good care of him, ma'am, one of the nurses assures me as they hook Kevin up to monitors and start running tests. As I sit in the waiting room, exhausted and furious, I realize this is far from over. Sarah's negligence could have cost Kevin his life, and no personal grudge should ever stand in the way of a child's health. A sense of determination grows within me, a promise that I won't let this go unchallenged. As Kevin's condition stabilizes a bit, the stark white lights of the hospital room blur together. The doctors here are attentive, giving us regular updates, but each update reminds me of how close we came to losing him. Alan stands nearby, his face showing restrained anger and concern. How could she just ignore his symptoms, he says, breaking the tense silence. His usual calm is shattered by the seriousness of our son's situation. I don't know, but I promise this isn't going to end here, I reply firmly, feeling more resolved than ever. As we sit in the dimly lit hospital corridor, I overhear a group of nurses talking nearby. I can't believe Dr. Sarah would do something like that, ignoring a sick child because of a personal issue with his mother. That's just cruel. Yeah, I heard she's always been competitive, but this is a new low. Poor kid might have suffered less if she'd acted sooner. Their words, meant to be private, ignite a fury in me. It wasn't just negligence, it was intentional and vindictive. Kevin suffered because of a grudge. This wasn't just unprofessional, it was inhumane. Later that evening, Alan and I sit down with Kevin's doctor, a kind woman with a gentle manner and sharp expertise. His condition was critical when he arrived, which suggests there was a significant delay in treatment. This kind of bacterial infection spreads rapidly, and immediate treatment is critical, she explains, her eyes sympathetic but worried. What can we do to prevent this from happening to someone else? I ask, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Raising awareness about the signs of severe infections is a start, and advocating for better protocols in hospitals for handling personal conflicts professionally is also important. Her words spark an idea, a campaign or movement that could save others from the pain and danger Kevin faced. It's not just about Sarah anymore, it's about fixing a system that lets personal biases influence medical care. We need to start something, Alan, a campaign to ensure this doesn't happen to anyone else. I'm with you, Helen, let's make sure no other family has to go through what we did. As Kevin slowly recovers, our mission becomes clearer. We'll start a campaign and use our story to push for changes. It will be about more than just our grievances. It will be a fight for every patient who needs care, a voice against medical negligence. As we walk back to Kevin's room, our steps reflect the determination in our hearts. We're not just Kevin's parents, we're his advocates and protectors, and we will fight to ensure no other parent has to watch their child suffer needlessly. The campaign starts small, just a ripple in the vast healthcare system, but soon it swells into a wave. Alan and I spend nights drafting letters, making calls, and setting up meetings with healthcare advocates and sympathetic media outlets. The word spreads, fueled by our determination and the shocking nature of our story. We've got another family who had a similar experience with Dr. Sarah, Alan tells me one morning, his eyes tired but determined. That's 3 this week. Let's make sure their stories are heard too. We need to show this isn't an isolated incident. My mind races with plans and strategies as our living room transforms into a campaign headquarters, filled with posters, flyers, and blueprints for community meetings. Kevin watches us, trying to understand the seriousness of what we're doing. Mom, are you going to make the doctors listen? He asks one evening, his voice filled with curiosity and hope. We're going to try our best, sweetheart. We want to make sure what happened to you doesn't happen to anyone else, I assure him, gently stroking his hair. As our campaign gains momentum, the local news picks up our story. The headline reads, "Local family fights back against medical negligence." It's a powerful moment to see our story on the screen, knowing it's reaching thousands. With the community behind us, we arrange a meeting with the hospital administration. Walking into the hospital where it all began feels surreal. The hallways that once felt comforting now seem daunting, but the support from other families strengthens my resolve. The meeting is tense from the start. Hospital executives, legal advisors, and Sarah herself sit across from us. Sarah's face is unreadable, but her body language shows a hint of defensiveness. "We're here to discuss a serious lapse in the duty of care at your facility. My son's case is just one of several where personal conflicts interfered with medical judgment," I begin, my voice steady but filled with emotion. Sarah shifts uncomfortably but stays silent, avoiding eye contact. We've brought statements from other families pointing to a pattern of negligence that can't be ignored. We demand accountability and immediate changes in how personal conflicts are handled here, Alan adds, laying out documents and testimonies on the table. The discussion escalates as the hospital executives whisper among themselves. The tension in the room is palpable. Everyone understands the stakes. How many more will suffer because personal vendettas are prioritized over patient care? I ask, my words hanging heavily in the air. Finally, the hospital's CEO speaks in a measured tone. "We take these allegations seriously. We will conduct a thorough internal review and take necessary actions." As we leave the meeting, Sarah's gaze meets mine for a brief moment. I see a flicker of something, maybe regret or the realization of the impact of her actions. The battle is far from over, but it's a start, a crack in the indifference that has allowed negligent behavior for too long. Stepping out into the fresh air, the burden we've been carrying feels a little lighter, and our path forward seems clearer. We're making a difference, one step at a time, fueled by a mother's love and a father's unwavering support. In the weeks following the meeting, the community's support grows stronger each day, and our story spreads far beyond our small town. Social media amplifies our message, bringing in support, stories, and momentum from across the nation. The issue of medical negligence, once only whispered about in hospital corridors, is now a topic of public debate and demand for reform. The hospital's internal review becomes a turning point. Faced with growing public pressure and clear evidence of wrongdoing, the board takes decisive action. One crisp morning, the news breaks. The headline flashes across every local channel: "Doctor suspended amidst negligence scandal." "Look, Mom, they're talking about it on TV," Kevin exclaims, pointing to the screen with wide eyes filled with a mix of wonder and understanding. "Yes, they are, honey. It's important that everyone knows what happened so it doesn't happen again," I reply, hugging him close, feeling a mix of relief and vindication. Sarah's professional downfall serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of prioritizing personal vendettas over patient care. While I don't take joy in her misfortune, I recognize it as a necessary outcome for the greater good of patient safety. As our campaign continues to gain traction, it starts to influence policy. Health facilities across the state begin implementing new protocols designed to handle personal conflicts among medical staff, ensuring that patient care remains the top priority. Workshops and seminars on ethical medical practices become more frequent, and I'm often invited to share our story and the lessons learned. Amidst the chaos and change, I feel a deeper calling awaken in me. Inspired by our impact, I decide to return to the medical field, not as a nurse this time, but as an advocate for patient rights. My new role allows me to work closely with healthcare providers and policymakers to develop and enforce standards that protect patients and ensure fair treatment. This is just the beginning, Alan. We've started something important here, and I want to keep pushing forward, I say one evening as we sit in our backyard watching Kevin play with the dog, healthier and happier than he's been in months. "I'm proud of you, Helen." Kevin is proud too. "We all are. You turned a nightmare into a beacon of hope for so many," Alan responds, his voice thick with emotion. As the sun sets, casting long shadows across the grass, I reflect on our journey, from the depths of despair and fear for my son's life to sparking a movement that changed the landscape of medical ethics. Our story is a testament to the power of a mother's love and the strength of community. Our campaign slogan, "Care over Conflict," becomes a rallying cry for those who believe in the dignity of every patient. Kevin's painful ordeal leads to a lasting legacy, ensuring that no patient's care is compromised due to personal disagreements among medical staff. As I prepare for a conference on patient rights, I look back not with bitterness, but with fierce hope for the future, a future where medical professionals remember their oath not just in words, but in actions. My return to the medical field is not just a career choice, it's a mission, a promise to my son and to every patient who deserves care, compassion, and respect. Now, I have a question for all of you. Do you believe personal conflicts should have any place in professional settings, especially in critical fields like healthcare? How would you suggest managing such conflicts to prevent any impact on service quality? I really want to hear your thoughts and stories, so please drop your comments below. Let's get a discussion going and see what experiences and opinions we all bring to the table. If you found this story impactful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Your support helps us keep bringing these important stories to light.